welcome back to Let's Talk Ninjago. Today we have another tier list. We are doing every Ninjago main villain. Now, this is including some sort of side villains like Klaus, for example. I didn't include all of them, like you'll notice, for example, Flintlock's not here. It's a bit hard to choose which ones, but Klaus is the main villain in the Dark Island trilogy. And then for characters like Kozu, Cryptor, and Kozu Cryptor, they're in Day of the Departed as returning villains, so I figured they can go on the tier list. So, with that said, our tiers, we have Goated, which is just peak villain. Every appearance they have is amazing, and they elevate the seasons they're in. Then we've got Amazing, great addition to the season or seasons, but maybe there's just something about them not perfect, or we don't have enough of them. Great, just a little bit below that, there's something more you wanted from them. Good, they're alright, like they're a good villain, but they're just sort of there. Mid, I've got a problem with the villain, or there's just not enough to them. Bad, we do have some bads today. Bad, we'll get to that when we get to it. There's a specific one that I'm not sure about. We'll get to bad, and then worst, we'll figure that out at the end. At the end, we'll put in worst, and Goated will only have like one or two because we got to distinguish them. With that said, let's get into the main villain of Ninjago, Garmadon. I mean, this is an easy pick. He's Goated, obviously. Favorite Garmadon appearance, easily Season 8. He's amazing in Season 8. Season 8/Season 9. Like, only trilogy in general. He's great in all that. He's alright in Crystallized. He sort of has the Fat Thor arc that Thor has in Endgame. He reminds me of a lot of that in Crystallized, which I don't really understand. That's easily one of Thor's worst arcs. But let's not get into Marvel. But you know what I mean. Like, it's a confusing way to take the character, but he is entertaining at least, and they don't ruin his character like they do for someone else on this tier list. We'll get to them. And yeah, he's amazing in Season 1. He's the original Ninjago villain. He's the most iconic Ninjago villain. He's top 5 Ninjago characters of all time. Like, he's Lord Garmadon. He was the character in the movie. He's the villain in the movie. Like, it's Garmadon. He's Ninjago's villain. Like, he has to be goated. Then we have Samukai. Samukai is quite interesting, but not in the show. Like, his backstory, if they went into it, would be quite interesting as like a fallen evil warrior that became the ruler of the underworld. But for what he actually is in the show and what we've seen from him in the pilots and in a little bit of Season 2 and Day of the Departed, he's probably, I mean, is he mid or good? I'll give him good for now, but it can be bumped down once we get later on into tier list. He's a good introductory villain. He's kind of like, again, comparing to Marvel, he's kind of like one of the Phase 1 villains, where there's not much to him, but you just need a villain. And obviously, he's not the main villain of the pilots. It is Garmadon, but he's the one you see the most. And yeah, Samukai, good. Not much to say with him. Then we have Pythor, the first villain of the first season. To me, Pythor's going to go amazing. If it was just Season 1 Pythor, I'd go goated, but I don't really like some of his appearances later on. He's a very wish-washy character, which makes me bring him down. I'm specifically talking about Day of the Departed. I don't get how the character at the end of Tournament of Elements is the same character in Day of the Departed. It doesn't make sense. Why would he feel the need to kill Lloyd? He's already alive. Like, all the other villains I get because they're dead. They want to come back to life. It makes sense. And obviously Moro just doesn't care. But Pythor makes no sense. It's obviously because he was in the sets. Like, let's just be honest. But to me, I see that as a bit of a problem. That he's just a bit all over the place. Even in Crystallized, he's very weird. Like, he's funny in Crystallized, but I don't know. He's just a confusing villain sometimes. If we're just talking about early Pythor, like Season 1 and rebooted Pythor, he's great. What was that? But yeah, I really like Pythor. He can go amazing. Could be bumped up, but yeah. Then we have Scales, the technically first villain of Rise of the Snakes. For Scales, I'm going to go good. He's obviously plays very backseat to Pythor. but Scales obviously plays backseat to Pythor, but I mean he's an enjoyable character. His motives make sense why he betrays Scalador. Yeah, Scalador, pretty sure. But yeah, he's alright. He's a background character. He's a better version of Samukai, but I guess we could go great for Scales because I do think he's better than Samukai. But we'll do like a redo, adjusting everything at the end, and then we got the Great Devourer. I mean, uh, technically great because without her, I mean technically without the Overlord, but we'll get to that. Without her, we wouldn't have Garmadon. So technically, she has a bigger impact than we originally realized. Or, well, we knew that. She's got a massive impact on Ninjago, but in terms of her character, there's nothing to the Great Devourer. She's just a massive snake that wants to eat everyone. Like, I can go good. Not mid because she is an intimidating villain. Like, she serves the role that the Great Devourer serves, she does perfectly. I just feel like it's nothing special. Like, she's just a massive villain. Then we've got Kozu. Kozu again, good. He's literally feels like another version of like Samukai. He's not as good as Scales. Good. Not much to say. Then we've got the Overlord. As you guys may know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Overlord. I think he's the most bland villain. There's nothing to him. He's just the embodiment of evil, which isn't that cool. Like, he's just evil to be evil. He doesn't have the motive like Garmadon or even like Pythor. I guess I can go great for the Overlord because, say, I like him in Season 2. He's good in Season 2. Season 3, he's good as well. Then Crystallize, he's not great. I don't really like him in Crystallize, but I don't know if that's a problem with him or just Crystallize in general. But I can go great. He's just... People act like the Overlord is like the best villain in Ninjago, but there's really nothing to him. Like, I guess you can say he did cause Garmadon, but that's such a lame sort of rewrite. I don't like that. It's Overlord, and to be fair, I mean, there's villains here that are nowhere near as powerful as the Overlord that win, and the Overlord never wins. So, yeah, great for the Overlord. Could go down to good or even mid. Not a big fan of the Overlord. Actually, I'm going good. I don't like him nearly as much as Scales. Not a big fan of the Overlord. Cryptor, again. Oh, we can go great. I think he's kind of funny, but... Oh, good, actually. There's not much to Cryptor. He's just an evil version of Zane, which is what the Ninja are, but... Yeah, not much to Cryptor. He's alright in Day of the Departed, but... Yeah. Then we've got Chen. I'm going to go amazing for Chen. I really like Chen. Easily the funniest villain on this list. Yep. Probably. Easily the funniest villain on this list. His motives make sense. They make sense. His backstory is very interesting. How he was Garmadon's original master and he sort of manipulated Garmadon. I like his obsession with the Anaconda occultist. I like the way he loses in the end, where they just show him like, you're such a coward, you're such a fake, like, and the people he's looked up to his whole life in Octorus is like disgusted by him, which I find really interesting. So yeah, Chen can go amazing, classic Ninjago villain. I don't think he's that goated just because he doesn't have like the threat that say Garmadon has, and he's only in one season, and technically Day of the Departed, but that's like 10 minutes of screen time at most. So yeah, amazing for Chen. Then we've got Klaus. I think this might be a hot take. I think Klaus is quite overrated. I'm going to go good. I feel like people talk about Klaus all the time, like wanting him to return and stuff. I couldn't care less if Klaus returned or not. To be fair, I haven't read the Dark Island trilogy. He might be amazing in that, but I don't think many people have read that. And Klaus, I don't know, he's just not that interesting. He's the henchman of Master Chen, which makes sense, and I get that he hates Garmadon because Garmadon was always beating him and like showing him up. But I just don't care about Klaus. I don't know I don't really care about him. He's got magic, which is kind of cool. I don't care that his serpent dies. Like, Chen is just so much better. I think people overrate Klaus. Like, he's good, but he does have a cool design. I mean, he's in season 6. There's nothing much to him in season 6. He seems quite dumb in season 6, which is a bit of a problem with some characters. We'll get to Naraka. But yeah, good for class. Moro, goated. He's amazing in season 5. I think what puts him above, say, Chen and Pythor, what puts him above Pythor is he stays consistent. I feel like Pythor, to be fair, it does kind of make sense with him being a snake, like never trust a snake, but Pythor is it doesn't make sense. Like, if it made sense why he would try and kill Lloyd and Dave the Departed, then he'd go and goated. But it doesn't make sense because they're even. Why would you try and kill him? You don't need to come back to life. You're already alive. If it was to come back to alive, I would completely understand it. But I don't understand it. Moro is the only character that stays consistent to his ending, where he redeems himself in the end and lets himself die because he can't be redeemed. Let's be honest. Like, he's done so much evil that he has to just let himself die. And then we see him in Day of the Departed, realize he made a mistake and doesn't even try and fight Wu and tells him what's going on, which I love. Moro's handled perfectly in Day of the Departed. And then even in Dragon's Rising Season 3, one of the highlights of Dragon's Rising Season 3 is that episode. Moro is written great. It makes sense even though we didn't see the redemption arc too much, it makes sense as the next step for Moro to like protect people's souls when they're passing through. It's something good he can do. Yeah, I think it's a great evolution for Moro's character. Moro can go and goated. One of the standout villains in Ninjago to me, and I don't think he's overrated. I think him and like Tai Lung, he's always compared to Tai Lung. Obviously, he doesn't have the sick action scene like Tai Lung has with the escape from the prison. But yeah, Moro goated. Then the preeminent mid. There's literally nothing to say about her. She's quite cool. Like, she's massive blob looking thing, but yeah, she's the cursed realm in form, but there's nothing to her. Like, what do you want me to say? And she comes back in season 11 for no reason, which is pretty pointless. Then we've got Nardakan. Now, this is hard because, first off, Nardakan is how do I word it? Is a creep. We'll say it like that. I'm 99% sure Nia is like 15 in Skybound, and this guy is at least 100 years old, I want to say. Maybe thousands. This guy is disgusting. He's easily the most disgusting Ninjago villain. And when you think back on Skybound, it makes you enjoy him less because he's quite an entertaining villain to watch, but then you realize what he's trying to do, and it's like, oh, that's disgusting. I'll go great because I do enjoy like the way he acts, but he acts smarter than he actually is to me. I don't feel like I don't know, I feel like, for example, like the Zane scene. That seems more like Zane being stupid than it does Nardakan being smart. And also with the Kai, it seems like they're just freaking out. Like, if you just took a moment, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. I don't know. I think Nardakan can go on great. He is a creep, but yeah, very interesting motive for Nardakan. We'll go great for him. Yang can go good. Not much to him. It all makes sense. Like, he wants to live forever. I'm sure people can relate to that. But there's just not much to Yang. And I like his ending where he's still in the temple. But yeah, good. Not much to say of Yang. Then Acronix and Crux. I'd probably go good for both of them. I do prefer Acronix to Crux, just because Acronix is more fun. But I like the twist of Crux being Dr. Sanders and always being there. But again, I just feel like there's not much to these villains. I would like to see them return one day, but I think that time has completely passed. That happened in 2017. That's nearly 10 years ago. I think the time has passed. I thought it was going to happen in Dragon's Rising Season 1. If you remember the Raptor early leaks where we just saw the hairpiece and he was like blurry. But I think that ship's way past sailed. Like, I think it should have happened either Season 8 or Season 11, around that time. It's way too late for them to return. So, yeah, good for them. Now, this is the hard one. Harumi. If we're talking strictly Season 8 and 9 Harumi, she's goated. But she is handled horribly in Crystallized. And this is tough. I'm... It's Okay She's With Us is really affecting this. But she can't go in good because of how amazing she is in season 8 and 9. Oh, this is rough. Why did Crystallize do this? Let's go on a side rant. Why did Crystallize bring her back? She's easily top 2, maybe top 1 villains if you just take season 8 and season 9 Harumi. But they had to bring her back for some reason and completely ruin her character. If you watch Crystallize, there is no way every episode that is the same Harumi. One episode she's like feeling bad for Lloyd and you can tell she has feelings. Then the next she's hating Lloyd and loving hurting him. Then the next she likes him again. Then she hates him again. Then there's this super rushed like redemption arc which makes no sense where she's mad at the Overlord for releasing the Great Devourer on Garmadon, but you're not mad at Pythor, who literally did release the Great Devourer, and you're mad at the ninja. Like, make it make sense. They ruined her character. It completely ruins her entire character that she even interacts with Pythor. She should hate Pythor more than she hates the ninja. That's just factually true. Pythor was the reason the Great Devourer was released in the first place. Sure, you can say, oh, the ninja should have stopped him, that was her motive, but I think it should have been common knowledge that Pythor released the Great Devourer. I'm pretty sure in those little shorts for Day of the Departed, where Saunders talks about the villains, that he talks about Pythor releasing the Great Devourer. I don't feel like it's like covered news. I feel like it's known. So she's ruined by Crystallize. The fact that she even puts up with Pythor is disgusting to her character. And then the fact that she's just fine with Pythor. Pythor can help, even though Pythor released the Great Devourer who killed your parents. Not the ninja. Pythor did that. You're completely fine working with him, but you're not fine working with the Overlord. After all the bad stuff you've already done, you act like you need a redemption. Like, I just can't stand what they did to Harumi. Crystallize absolutely ruined a top 3 villain in Ninjago. Yeah, I'll never forgive Crystallize for that. It's Okay She's With Us is easily the worst line in Ninjago history. It makes absolutely no sense. Lloyd should never forgive Harumi. There's no reason to forgive Harumi. She doesn't even seem sorry. I don't think she says sorry to him in that episode, and if she does, it's probably once and not deserved enough. They should have never brought her back. It completely ruins her character just bringing her back in general, because her arc is that she's evil the whole time, then she kind of redeems herself, but she doesn't become good. She just stops another character from becoming her. So she stops the cycle, but she doesn't become good. Harumi at the end of season 9, when she dies in the building, is not a good character. She's not a hero. She just did a good thing to stop another version of her. But that's the perfect line where you can't redeem a character like Harumi after all the stuff she's done. You cannot redeem her. She's not worthy of redemption. But what they did was good enough, where you semi-redeem her by making it so she makes sure there's not another version of her. Anyway, we're talking too much about Harumi. I could do a whole another video on how much Crystallize ruins Harumi. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to go great, because only trilogy Harumi's goated, and Crystallized Harumi is bad. So we'll go middle of the pack. Great. Iron Baron, good. Not much to him. He's quite an entertaining villain, though, I think. I like his dynamic with... I like learning about him. He's quite sexist with Heavy Metal, and I like learning how he's basically just a complete fraud. Like, Heavy Metal did all the hard work. She got the Dragon Blade, I'm pretty sure. She was covered to look like a man, so Iron Baron would be less embarrassed. And they were all just lied to. All the hunters were just lied to by him about the Oni even being there, which I think is really interesting. And his character isn't as interesting as that, but yeah, I like the backstory of Iron Baron. He's just a bad guy. Again, like Harumi, he doesn't get redeemed. Not all villains need to be redeemed, and definitely not all of them deserve to be. And Iron Baron's like an example of that. So yeah, Iron Baron, good. Omega, mid. Cool design, but for a massive built-up villain like the Omega was, it's just very disappointing. I just feel like there's nothing to latch onto with the Omega, and just quite mid. Yeah, not a big fan. I think I'll put I'll keep the Great Devourer. Yeah, and then we've got Asphera. good. Her motives make sense, but she's quite annoying. I do. Is she alright in Crystallize? I mean, she's not assassinated like Harumi is in Crystallize and even Pythor, but she's just kind of there. I think she's quite fun. Her dynamic with Pythor is good. I like her and Wu, but there's just not much to his sphere. Ice Emperor, mid. I think he's cool design, but I think there's so much more they could have done with the Ice Emperor. That they... Oh, he's not mid though, he's good. But, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more you could have done with the Ice Emperor. Maybe revealing that it's Zane earlier and having, like, the ninja have to fight him or something. I don't know. I just feel like it gets a bit rushed towards the end. And it was... I mean, you can't fault them, but... I mean, the Ice Emperor in itself, it basically means that it's Zane. But it was super obvious it's Zane. Like, I don't know. They did try and do the thing with the jail cell and Kataru and stuff like that. But I think it would have been better if they kind of leaned into the idea that it was Zane. And the ninja knew that the whole time. And they sort of had to... Maybe they could have done something where the village people wanted to kill him for what he's done. But the ninja have to, like, stop them while justifying what Zane's done, if you know what I mean. I think that would have been much more interesting than what we got. But, yeah, he's alright. Vex, good, makes sense, but he is sort of just a bad dude. He was cast out, but, yeah, good for Vex. Not much to say. The Keepers, mid, I mean, they're not even villains. Oh, they're not meant to be here. They're meant to be here. We'll get to them later. Unagami, mid, such an underdeveloped villain. And is it just me, or did the child thing always feel quite confusing? Like, why does he just become a random child at the end? I don't know. I feel like the comparisons to him and Jay are interesting, but they're not, like, looked at enough to actually become something cool or interesting. They're just very surface level. And I feel like his redemption's too soon. And he's barely in the season. Like, there's 16 episodes. I feel like Unagami has about 10 minutes of screen time, and most of that's the final 2 episodes. So, yeah, Unagami mid, not that great. Mechanic can go great, quite a fun villain. A very similar to, like, Cryptor. He's basically like a better version of Cryptor, Kozu, Samukai, villains like that. I just like seeing the Mechanic. He's not ruined by Crystallize, which is a huge bonus for him. Even though he's not great in Crystallize, but... yeah, he doesn't get assassinated like Harumi. But, yeah, great for the Mechanic. Then Vangelis, good. I feel like he got away with not being character assassinated in Crystallize because there's not much to ruin. Like, actually mid. Yeah, good because I like that he's interesting sort of. But, again, some of these villains there's not much to say, but... Vangelis can go good. Skull of Hazardor mid. Just don't really care. Like, it's just a skull. Chief Mamatus? The chief of the Keepers can go mid. And he's not even a villain. But I do like the Keepers. If it was just a character thing, it'd probably go higher. But in terms of, like, actual being villains, they're not villains. So they have to go mid. Yeah. Ronan... Now we're specifically talking about Ronan as a villain, I'm going mid. As a character, I quite like Ronan, but I also don't. I like him in Season 5. He's great in Season 5. He gets like a slow redemption. There is the weird scene with Nia, obviously. A lot of weird stuff early in Ninjago that you look at now and you're like, why did this happen? Anyway, I like him in Season 5. I don't like him in Season 6 because the amount of time he spent with the ninja... he shouldn't be turning on them so quick. I get he's like obsessed with money, but still I don't... just because it's the ninja, I don't think it makes sense. Then he's in Day of the Departed barely, who cares? Barely in Season 7, not in Season 8, barely in Season 9. Not in most of the Wild Brain era. Then he shows up in the island and he's sort of back to his Season 6 ways, but I don't know, it just feels really messy, like I don't know. I prefer Ronan when he's good, and this just feels it does feel in character, but not. I don't know. Mid for Ronan as a villain. As a character, he's good to great, but as a villain, he's mid. Kalmar can go great. He's basically Pythor, but not as good. I like him. He's fun. He's pure evil again. Like I said before, not redeemed because he doesn't need to be and doesn't deserve to be redeemed. Not all villains need to be redeemed. So, yeah, Kalmar, great. Wojira, basically just the Great Devourer, so we'll go good. Very intimidating. I mean, she literally puts the whole of Ninjago City underwater, which is pretty impressive. So, go good for Wojira. Mr. F, bad. I literally have nothing to say. Beatrix, good. I feel like Dragon's Rising Season 4 could have elevated her to great, but she does feel the exact same as she did in Season 1. I don't feel like there's any difference to her character. She's just more angry, more extreme, more crazy. Yeah, Beatrix, good. She's a good starting villain for Dragon's Rising, but could be better. Raz, goated. One of the villains we see the most of in Ninjago already. He's great in Season 1, where you sort of get the idea that this guy's got more going on, but he takes a back seat a lot to Beatrix and even Rapton until the end of until like halfway through or episode 17. That's when you start realizing that Raz is actually the main villain, not Beatrix. And then Season 2 he's great in. Season 3 he's a highlight in, and unfortunately Season 4 he's not in much. But I'm expecting him to be great in part 2. So Raz goated. He just like if Raz is in the scene, you know it's gonna be good. I feel like, and he elevates the seasons. If he wasn't in Season 3, Season 3 would be much worse. So yeah, goated for Raz. Noct can go good. I like Noct in Season 2. I don't like Noct in Season 3 because it just feels like he's got nothing to do. And let me know if I'm wrong, but does Noct feel different in Season 3 than he does in Season 2? Maybe it's just because he's not in it as much, but he does feel a little bit different. I don't know why. Like, yeah, I'll go good. Rox sucks. Zark sucks. Drake's good. Kerr mid. Thunderfang worse. Lee can go great. And Leroux good. So, overall, that's my tier list for villains. Let me know if you disagree with anything. Are you a massive Thunderfang fan for some reason? I don't know why you would. Was I too harsh on Harumi, or was I not harsh enough? I would argue not harsh enough, but you guys let me know. Any crazy changes, any characters in good that should be in goated or amazing, let me know. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the support on my previous videos as well. I hope you enjoyed watching, and goodbye.